Right, it's time to talk about the fun and exciting things going down this week in Reddit. And I've got to talk. You want to talk about dodging bullets, and well, in light of what's going on in Philadelphia today, maybe that's not the thing, the metaphor I want to use. But
yeah,
maybe it is. Maybe it's accurate. The Lions, Antonio Brown, people were all talking. He was going to solve all of our problems. He took a lot of eggs out of that basket of eggs that they pay players in Oakland. Can you imagine if we were staring at that right now and how much money of our money would be in his pockets? How terrifying the season would be, Ed?
I think we are all enjoying the story and watching it play out in Oakland. Mm-hmm. If this was happening in Detroit, can you imagine how much he got frostbite in a cryogenic machine? He won't wear a goddamn helmet. Come on!
Oh my god!
I mean. And there were a lot of people who thought that Antonio Brown was going to be the solution to the Detroit Lions offensive weapon issue.
Yeah.
There were people who were convinced because he went to Central Michigan, because he speaks highly of his time when he was around the state. They thought he was going to come. They really did. And it was a lot of people were very disappointed when he wound up going to Oakland. Now that doesn't look so bad. Now, obviously, apparently he got his feet cleaned off, whether he put him in a koi pond and they ate all that gunk off. By the way, that's what I want for my birthday more than anything else in the world, is to have fish eat the dead skin off my feet. That's something that I want. So put that on my birthday wish list. But back to Antonio. It sounds like he's going to be. What's that?
When's your birthday?
September 17th.
All right.
Make it happen. No. I share it with Rasheed Wallace. He and I can go together.
My birthday's tomorrow.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Happy birthday.
I made it to another one. We'll talk about that later. Okay, sorry. So after they got the koi fish on his feet, what happened? Yeah,
so now he's still having trouble. I don't believe he's able to wear football cleats yet, but he's working his way back into that. He's looking for a new helmet because he doesn't like the way new ones feel, and he can't see out of them.
They protect his head too much.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he needs more brain damage. Maybe he needs another part of his body dyed that awful blonde color. He looks like Hulk Hogan.
God, yeah.
It's not a good look. Not a good look for anybody.
No, much less Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
That's the most wrestling talk we're going to get on this show.
Yeah, we are not Hulkamaniacs. Yeah. It's just I'm glad that it's happening in Oakland, which I think is a disaster train wreck waiting to happen. Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun to watch though, because Gruden is entertaining. Yeah. Remember, they're Hard Knocks. They got Hard Knocks instead of Detroit. That's their reward, is getting all the Antonio Brown publicity and
all the
Gruden
goes with it.
Oh man, it's we didn't. Can you imagine Matt Patricia trying to handle that? How do you think Matt Patricia would handle this Antonio Brown situation? It would be,
he would come down. He would cut him. I really believe he'd just throw him out. He would take it. He would say, here's what you have to meet. If you don't meet it, you're gone, and he would be gone, right? And it would be, but it's the media, how the media would handle it, and for the fan base, it would just be explosive, right? It would just be terrible.
And remember. Go ahead. Remember Chad Johnson in New England? Everybody thought that was going to be brilliant, and it lasted like a week and a half. And Belichick's like, no. I think that would have been the same situation in Detroit with Antonio Brown.
You're not wrong. So let me ask you a question. I'm leery of going out of town to away Lions games, right?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because you see what's happened in San Diego, what's happened in Dallas, what's happened in Philadelphia. You can catch a D battery in the back of the skull. It's a weird thing, right? And now, I've got, Tampa was great. I've gone to a couple of away games in decent places. There's places you can go and have a good time and not, have the other bullshit that goes on, because sometimes I lose control if I drink. And I'm not an instigator.
No,
but I'm a finisher.
No,
I'm a finisher.
You got the finishing moves.
Now,
nice.
I am likely to be in right near Oakland when the Lions play out there this year.
No black hole. No,
okay,
no,
that's what I thought.
No. They attack people in the bathroom and will beat you into the urinal and pee on you and use you as the urinal and feed you the urinal cake as a suppository. You don't want any of that crap.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted. I don't know why. I just feel like I needed something else.
That and Philadelphia are the two last places you ever want to be a visiting fan.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe Vegas will be different.
I think it will be. Vegas, everybody's like all crazy anyways. At least I am.
Yeah.
When I'm there.
Let's talk a little bit about some other news that came out. So anyway, good miss for the Lions on Antonio Brown. Fun to watch, but we do. I think we have to give credit to the front office for the moves they don't make. And this is one that a lot of people were pushing about. There's a lot of speculation, and this was a move that was very clearly not even on the table for our front office. And well, looks like they made a good decision there. So give them credit where it's due. All right. Also, there was some scary news today. Imagine you have Antonio Brown acting up the way he did, and then you see TJ Hockenson go out with the trainers today. How absolutely you'd be hanging up the phone. You'd be looking for the hockey schedule. When's it starting? Right, you're done. Right. What happened? The schedule came out yesterday, so there's something to mildly look forward to. What happened to TJ? Man, it doesn't sound great.
Oh yeah. So and it blew up our Slack. By the way, Chris Robbins posted it in there that Hockenson left with trainers, and we're like, oh crap, what's going on? And it wound up pretty clearly being just he got poked in the eye in a rep. I talked to a couple of guys who were at the practice, both a Texans and a Lions guy who were there today. They both said, "Oh, he'll be fine." It was just, he got blurry. It's hot out. You get sweat in it. One of the issues that you have in Houston is that you cannot stop sweating, and so when your eye is hurt, you're getting sweat in there all the time. It just burns. It's not a good situation. So I expect him to be back and fine, but it's a minor injury. But the trepidation that it caused of, oh my God, Hockenson could be hurt. I'm not gonna lie, man. My blood pressure dropped. I'm like, oh no, this is not what we need.
No.
And some of it reinforces to me how scary it is that we are very heavily dependent on a rookie tight end to be a feature point in the offense.
Yep.
And when Jermaine Kearse went down, that importance moved up a little bit more, and they haven't replaced him.
And that's in the depth chart. Right, I mean, because up through Kearse, you were okay for your lineup,
and the last 2 days in practice that I saw Kearse, he looked good, and it was sad to me because the first couple of days I was in practice, I'm like, who's 18? Oh, Kearse, what are we paying for him? And then I saw it, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're paying for, and now. It is what it is, and that's very unfortunate.
Hopefully someone like a Fulgham or one of the other guys can kind of step up with the opportunity for some reps here, because that's what we really need.
Yeah, and I have somebody that I trust in the Houston media who I assigned him to actually watch Fulgham a little bit this week, and we're gonna have a little thing on Lions Wire later this week about his observations on some of the Lions rookies, and I'm looking forward to that, to seeing it from a fresh perspective.
Yeah,
from what the other team sees. And Houston is a pretty good team to evaluate that against because their corners aren't great, but they're serviceable.
Yeah.
But they are. There's some interesting. We'll talk about the Texans a little bit and how they match up and why they're an interesting challenge for the Lions. But somebody's got to step up there. And I tell you what, Hockenson is going to be a major part of this offense.
Yeah, for sure.
We've seen all the whatever the rookie records are. Quite honestly, I will be disappointed if he does not set the NFL rookie record for receptions by a rookie tight end. I really will be, because I think they're going to lean on him that heavily.
Wow.
And I think they need to lean on him that heavily. He has that much ability. He really does. I'm very excited to see what he can do, and I hope that he gets unleashed.
Yep.
And I hope that it develops and works out. And
interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I was scared as hell when I saw that he went out with trainers. I'm like, oh no. But
interesting.
All is well.
Working on some tricky dicky formations out there that you can't report on. In a camp where they can run cameras and they wouldn't do it at home where you can't. That's interesting, right? But whatever.
Yeah. So Houston. So Bill O'Brien used to be the way the sort of paranoid android that Patricia is and has made the Lions. And he finally realized, and I had this conversation with somebody in the Houston media, he realized that it didn't do him any benefit. And we talked about one of the reasons why Patricia is being nicer to the media and more open and friendly is the fact that he realized that there wasn't any net benefit to him being the way he was last year.
Right.
And
every report about him was that he was a great, affable guy. It was just the way the media thing was working out. He wasn't, right?
Right.
And
well, the media did not help. We did not help ourselves there. To be completely fair to Matt, he certainly had justification to be pissed off, and I don't blame him for that. But the same thing happened with O'Brien, who's a similar type of, I don't know. I don't want to say that this will sound bad. He's smarter than you, and he likes you to know that he's smarter than you. And I get that vibe from Patricia as well, from different sides of the ball. And it's not meant to be condescending towards them. It's just kind of the way that they are.
Yep.
Eric Mangini was the same way. Yeah. Belichick likes those types of people. They gravitate towards. Scott Pioli, and as a front office guy, is the same way. He's from that tree too.
It is tough to go through life smarter than most of the people you
God, it really is. You
so
fucking automatons piss me off, man.
All these NPCs running around, right?
Stop licking the bus windows.
Oh God!
Breathe through your nose every now and then. Jesus!
Oh my God! Don't get me started. That was the guy that was yelling at me for the phone. He was breathing out his mouth the whole time. I was just like. So anyway, there was something I missed on Antonio Brown. It just reoccurred to me. I want to go back to that, and I'm sorry to have to walk us backwards, but. How much of that do you think has to do with shots to the head? With the Titus thing, you know what? It was he was for a long time a very kind of, again, affable guy, relatively quiet, but he had his showy side, right? It was just a great player, put his head down and did what he needed to, and this is that kind of a little bit craziness that.
It really does make you wonder what he's going to be like in 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's, you don't want another Titus Young situation. You really don't.
No.
That went from being like a running joke to not being funny at all, like overnight.
Yep.
And you really don't want to see that happen with Antonio Brown, because Antonio Brown, he's a charismatic guy. He's a fantastic football player. And I hope that doesn't get lost.
Right.
All the antics.
Yeah, he's a guy that could do TV time for sure, and would be great at it. It's just
he'd be a great game show host, just his personality and everything. When he was he on Dancing with the Stars, or was he on The Masked Singer? One or the other.
You know what?
He was like really good though.
He could host The Running Man. Remember that from the 80s?
Oh, God, I would love that show.
Host that. He's like the new Richard Dawson, right? Plus, he had to kiss all the ladies. All right.
If Maria Conchita Alonso comes into the house, she's getting kissed.
Ooh, okay.
Hot.
I'm down.
There you go.
All right. Hey, speaking of market
that was for everybody over 40 who knows that reference.
and for those that don't, you're writing it down, folks that do get it. You're marking it down. And how do you get stuff to mark things down in? Right? You go on over to Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Right?
Oh, Chris.
Right? Now, I want to show you.
You never cease to amaze me, brother.
They don't have these. Look at that. Huh? How cool is that? Nice.
That
right.
I like that.
Got that on the back. Got your little spine action going. Oh, sorry. This is for the folks on the video. It's a nice little.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can I get one of those?
Yeah.
How do I get one of those, Chris? How do I get it?
It's a sweet little journal. It's available at store.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. We'll put those up there. We'll have them up on my birthday on the 15th, and you guys can order them from there. Pretty cool little handy thing. I use one for passwords. I use one for show notes. It's fun. But anyway, besides that, we're trying to talk about Amazon, because maybe you want to go somewhere and you're going like out of town. You don't want to show off your Lions pride like you would with a podcast one. And go get all your stuff, your notebooks, back to school supplies, all that stuff. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Again, we talk about doing this. We try to help you guys get stuff that you need, and in a way that you can help us. I mean, Bezos doesn't need all that money. You use that link, a little bit of his money goes to us. It doesn't cost you anything else. It's a great way to go. All right. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Slid that in there. Talking about sliding around, Ty Johnson is sliding up the depth chart. See what I did? I did another one right on. I'm on
nice, man. You're scoring.
It's better that we did today than yesterday, because yesterday I was dead. Ty Johnson looking really good out there. Had a great game against the Pats, didn't he? And you were saying much better than
he did. He did. Well, he lost I think it was a 12-yard run. It might have been a little bit longer than that. Early in the game, it was on the second drive. It was actually the play where Jermaine Kearse got hurt.
Yep.
There was a holding penalty on Kenny Wiggins on that play. Yep. But you saw him attack. And one of the complaints that I always had about Amir Abdullah, who's a similar type of back, but Ty is faster, is that he would purposely try to get himself out into space and then make moves. Mm-hmm. And Johnson is making moves to get himself out into space. And there's a difference there.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he turned it up. He's much more north-south than Riddick or Abdullah was. And I really liked seeing that. He's easy to block for because he understands how to set things up. He can cut quickly, but doesn't have to cut quickly the way that Riddick or Abdullah is. So I think it's a major upgrade. I'm very impressed with what I've seen. And by the way, he can catch. That's very nice.
And he was.
I'm very excited about him.
He was a 6th round pickup.
Yep. Huh. Well, remember, he did not play a lot at Maryland, and Maryland has a running back this year who's going to challenge for a 1st round pick next draft. His name escapes me at the moment, but I can see him. They were loaded, and I'm not sure that they knew what to do with Johnson because the other guy is a better running back, and they didn't really have a quarterback who could throw the short passes. So I'm very impressed with what I've seen from Ty Johnson in camp and in the first game, and it sounds like he had a great first practice in Houston, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing him attack a defense that's got a lot of big name talent and a lot of holes, and I think he's the kind of guy who can do really well against that.
I heard Quinn can't draft, so it must have been a lucky shot. Yeah, someone else I want to talk about. My radar is officially on this guy. Okay, and I know it's early, but I'm getting a good sense from everything I saw in camp and what I've heard from Texans camp so far is and Amani Aruwariye. I had to say it quick because I've had a couple drinks.
Aruwariye. There you go.
He's flashed, and he's also had his problems. He's a first-year corner, right? You expect him to have problems, but the areas where he's flashed are areas where a lot of guys have troubles. He's flashed more than I'd expect a rookie to do. I'm getting a sense that this kid is going to grow into something, at minimum, a serviceable corner for us at the NFL level, and very possibly our guy that's going to replace Slay eventually. He just, again, it's super early. It's his first year, but I really see some pieces of this guy's game that I think are going to be big returns for us. He's got all the athleticism we need. He's a guy that I think is going to go. So just book it, just mark it down. We'll talk again in 2 or 3 years.
All right.
But
so I can see him being the number 2 in 2020. Yeah. I think that's an eminently realistic goal for him.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
If he is he going to be? Well, remember though, Darius Slay is a rookie. He sucked. Yeah, he was awful.
My favorite line.
And he deserved it too.
Yeah,
he deserved it.
Yep.
He could not figure out how. I remember the play against Arizona vividly, where he and DeAndre Levy had to switch on I don't remember who. It wasn't Larry Fitzgerald. It was somebody else on the team. And they had a switch, and Darius stayed with the guy that Levy was switching to, and they scored a touchdown over the top, and Levy went off on Slay, and it shattered his confidence for like 3 weeks, and he didn't play the next week.
In those days, Levy could shatter a lot of things, man.
Yes, he could. That was before the sloth bit his ass or whatever the hell happened. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it. And remember, I think one of the key indicators, right, to help me solidify this view of where he's going to go is what he does this next offseason, where he works out, who he works out with. Remember, Slay went with Woodson, right? And out in California, and they worked out for
yes.
And he
got Charles Wood. No, yeah. Rod Woodson, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yes,
and he got a ton of tips, and a great set of workouts with him, and it really, he lived there with the guy for a while, and you could see when he came back, he was a new man with new talents. And I think
he had technique.
That's the kind of thing that Amani needs this year.
Right.
So we'll see. But
the one thing I want to see from Aruwariye, I want to see him read the receiver cues better, know that the ball's in the air, because that happened twice in the Patriots game where he was clueless that the ball was coming, and the one touchdown that was called over him, he had every chance to make a play on that ball, and he didn't. Yep. That's the learning experience for him.
Yep.
And I hope that he does learn from that, because he showed at Penn State he can make those plays.
Yep.
He's got to do it in the NFL now.
Yep. He's got the tools.
That was actually one of the things that I took away from the Patriots game, was how little ball awareness there was from the Lions secondary and linebackers. There were several completions where they had shots at making a play. They were in position. They didn't know the ball was in the air.
Right.
And if it's a simple thing of, my son's playing 8th grade football. Now they are taught every time, as soon as the ball's in the air, ball.
Right.
Maybe that needs to happen at the Lions level. It's not something that you ever hear in camp. I never hear it. And I have heard it when I've been in Texans camp and Browns camp and Bengals camp and Colts camp.
Yep.
It's just maybe it's something that needs to get implemented because it is a problem.
Yeah,
it's a fixable problem though.
Yeah,
and these guys will know that. So I'm looking forward to the day when he's a little bit more aware of those things because I agree. There's a lot to like with Amani Oruwariye.
See, it's hard to do. You haven't even had a drink yet. All right, gonna really quick. Gonna hit on fantasy football. Fantasy.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Get signed up. Get going. Great prizes. Quadruple the prizes we've ever had. And these
quadruple.
Yeah, we've got way more. Like 4 times, I guess it is. Ash did the math on it. So we've also got 2 great pick'em leagues. Get in there, have some fun. It's our annual fundraiser. Half the money and all the pots goes to the players, half goes and pays for all our ongoing running bills. So fantasy.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Have a riot and play some fantasy with us. And we'll have some good fun with that. All right. Big story coming out. This guy, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford. I get these names; they just keep getting me. Evidently, he's fallen in love with Detroit, and I'm certain it's because of the dulcet tones and the golden pipes of his favorite podcast, right?
Well, I hope it's us. That'd be nice.
No, he loves the city. He said that if you had told me 11 years ago I'd be in Detroit, you'd think you were crazy. And here he is. He loves it. He loves it.
That's a very interesting quote because it
can be taken in a tough way, right?
Yeah. I'll be writing it up later tonight. Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for tipping me off of that. I was in sort of radio silence today for like 6 hours, so I'm getting caught up on the world's events.
You deserve the time.
I need it. Trust me. It's really cool that he has embraced the city that hasn't always embraced him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think some of it is that I think his family genuinely likes it here when they're here. I think his wife has enjoyed, the reception that she's gotten from the people, from the city of Detroit and Lions fans specifically. They've been wonderful to her.
Yeah.
And they haven't always been that way in the past with Kelly. And that's very unfortunate.
I'm going to tell you, Detroit, I've been around and I've been in a lot of places. But the thing is, there's something about Detroit and the people of Detroit. There's a special kind of friendliness, and I know there's a Midwest sense to it, but it's different in Detroit. Detroit is it is different because I'm from there, and I it's just familiar to me. I don't know, but I 15, 18 years away, and I roll back, and it's still absolutely 100% home. And the people, I get stunned every time when we start talking, and just how awesome folks are in the city.
I think there's a sense of loyalty in Detroit amongst Detroiters, and I am not a Detroiter. I'm from the Cleveland area, but I've lived in Columbus. I've lived in Indianapolis. I live in Grand Rapids now, and it's a little bit different. There is something different with Detroit. There really is. There's that, like, you have to prove that you're one of us.
Yeah, damn right.
But once you're there, you're freaking gold, man. I'll think back to Isaiah Thomas, who, when he went to Indiana, and he's from Chicago, and there were people that had trouble warming up to him, and this is going way the hell back. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He was not popular when he first got to Detroit.
He wasn't doing Detroit Edison commercials out of the gate, I'll tell you that.
No, he was not. But once he proved that he was down with Detroit, Detroit was definitely down with him.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I really, God, I hope that happens for
Isaiah.
Someday.
You remember those, right? Oh, Isaiah.
Oh, God, I do remember that.
That's awesome. All right, yeah, Stafford loves it, and so a little more Stafford news. There's a lot of worry and concern and talk, and it's the normal swirl that happens this time of year. As there's some football, but it's not the football, right? And you people are grabbing at stuff. He talked about the time he took off, the practices he missed. He was missing. You saw, on a day that they held him out, he was running the hill. He was the last guy out there running the hill over and over and over, conditioning, just working it. He said he feels really, really good. His arm feels super fresh after that week off. I think this is really turning into a good thing. You give him the time off, he's still working hard, and he's still, he's still doing all the studying. He's still working his body, but yet he can come back fresh. Like he said, this is going to wind up being a good thing, isn't it, Riz?
I think one of the things that about Matthew Stafford is that he can throw the damn ball. That he doesn't need practice throwing the ball.
He doesn't need some more arm strength built up,
right? And he has chemistry with his starting wide receivers, with Galladay and Jones. And it would be nice if he got a little bit more chemistry with Hockenson, but that seems to be a pretty easy chemistry that's working right now. You know, the second and third team wide receivers are getting more reps than the starters are. So why not let Stafford rest a little bit? Let him, work on other things. Let him see things from not on the field, because there is a different perspective from that. Coaches talk about that all the time. But a lot of veteran players, I've seen it in other places where veterans like to have that mental day off, where they can just go about doing their business, get their work in, not necessarily be required to participate in every drill or everything. It's one of the things that I know in Indianapolis they do. They will let Andrew Luck do individual drills, but in team drills he never participates.
Sure.
And I don't mind Patricia doing that with Stafford and letting him, just you trust, Matthew Stafford has the work ethic to get it done.
Yep, absolutely.
And anybody who criticizes Matthew Stafford's work ethic doesn't know crap. Yeah. Ignore them. They're lying to you. The guy works hard. He busts his ass all the time. No. Anybody who says different is flat out lying to you and has an agenda against Matthew Stafford.
100%. I mean, look, he's given the day off from practice, and so he goes to the hill, and he's the last one there working out. If you don't think he's committed, you may have a closed head injury and may need to seek help immediately.
Yes.
All right. Hey, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I want to hit on it again. My birthday's tomorrow, the 15th of August.
Happy birthday, Chris!
Thank you. Still 29. And hey, there's something else that happens on this day, this wonderful day, this national holiday, it should be. I think it's India's Independence Day, by the way. So they do have a national holiday for my birthday.
There you go.
The NFL is doing their annual sneaker release, and the Lions sneaker is coming out at 10 a.m. Thursday on my birthday. And get yours, fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. You can see on Twitter I put a picture of what they're going to look like. Got some advanced pictures of them from Nike. They're really sharp sneakers. They really, really look good. And go get yourself some. Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. Like I said, 10 a.m. on Thursday, the 15th. They're out. Get yourself some, or any of the other Lions gear. Hey, you want to be really kind? You can get me a pair, size 14. Send them off to the podcast.
So I did check with the guy who I get the same emails that you did on that. I responded to the guy, are they going to make them in a wide size? And he assures me that I will be able to get a 15 wide. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. There's something to be said for the large shoe size in this show. Just so you folks know. All right. Let's get on to we're going to do a preview of Houston. We did a show Friday following up on what happened at the Patriots game. We're going to lead into the Houston game now. And before we kick this part off, I just want to give everyone a quick show note. We're going to do our show next week. I'm not sure if we're going to squeeze a second one in the weekend or not, just so you guys know. We're working on it and seeing what we can do. I fly out on Sunday. I'm doing 30 hours of travel to get to India. I'm there all week. I'm traveling every day. Actually, I'm taking another plane to somewhere else, and then I'm blasting out of there on Saturday. I don't know during that week, other than maybe some quick hits I'll be able to do for the YouTube channel, if we're going to do anything that week. It's the week 4 of the preseason, so we're going to try to do something. I think so. We'll do the regular Tuesday show next week. And then we're going to try to do something after the third game of the preseason, because that's such an important game, and we'll try to put something together. But don't worry, don't fear. We're just it's that week is one where I'm in a tough spot. Yeah. I don't want to go across the border. I had the visa shit I've had to go through. I'm not kidding. I spent like 10, 11 hours getting all the stuff together to get a visa to be able to do it, and we had to accelerate it because of the time and everything. It's crazy. I'm not bringing over microphones and
no. I've seen your travel gear bag. You don't need that going through customs in India.
No.
That probably wouldn't go over too well.
No, you got to declare,
especially since they're already at heightened security with all this going on in Pakistani independence and Kashmir and everything. That's a very serious situation going on. Yeah. I hope you're not going to that section of India. India is a massive country.
Mumbai, Chennai, Trivandrum, and then Mumbai again.
Sweet. My father-in-law went to Mumbai for business like 15 years ago. He loved it.
Yeah. I've heard
he said the food was phenomenal and the people were great. So I've heard. I hope you enjoy it.
Thanks. Mihir, longtime friend of the show, has been corresponding with me to help me out with some things too. I got like 36 vaccinations today. I got
wow.
My malaria, Bills. I got the whole thing. Tell me I do. Anyway, okay, sorry. Let's talk about the Lions. Sorry. Really quick. Tom Savage. Have you heard anything about him since the game? Do we know?
Nothing official.
Nothing. So we don't know if it was a concussion. We don't know anything. Has he practiced? Have we seen him out there at all?
He is not. Okay. He is not. He was not on the field in Houston. I don't know if he went to Houston, to be honest with you. When he got concussed in Houston, when he was a member of the Texans, he did not fly. He got injured in New Orleans. They drove him home.
Wow.
So
that's
Now that's only like that's 5-hour drive, but still,
yeah.
They are going to be careful with him. I know for a fact, because I've reported on this, he's had 4 documented concussions since he was a senior at Pittsburgh. That's not good.
Yeah, and so you're looking at that, and David, Stafford with day off is getting all the opportunities in the world. This is, I know none of us are super high on him, but this is his opportunity. If there's ever a setup for you as a player to get your reps and prove your value, that's it. Can he? I don't know. All right, let's talk about a preview. Let's preview Houston. What do we need to watch for in this game? It's game 2. I assume we're going to see some Stafford on the field.
I bet we will see him for a series, and probably not much more than that.
Makes sense.
Last game, 14 starters did not play. This time, I'm hoping that we get a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Stafford will. I guess he'll get one. I will guess that the carry-on will get a rep or two, a carry just to get his feet wet. Mm-hmm. The problem here is that Houston's defensive line is really. They got J.J. Watt.
I've heard of him.
Yes, you probably should have. And guess where he lines up? He lines up over left guard, often heads up on the left guard. Where's the Lions' weakest point on their offense? Left guard. Yeah. And JJ, and by the way, JJ has no chill. I've been to joint practices with the Patriots and the Texans, and it was like, everybody's kind of, pussyfooting around and not really serious. And JJ's out there like trying to kill people. He does not. He doesn't understand that this is like a friendly thing. He's going to try to destroy people.
Yeah.
And if he gets a chance to splash Matthew Stafford and break his legs, he will. That's just. And by the way, that's a good thing. You want that in your players. You want that in your star players.
Yeah.
Right.
Not in their players.
In any player. No, you don't want that in their players. That's scary. At least Jadeveon Clowney is out. And by the way, the Lions are not trading for Jadeveon Clowney. What? They're not.
I thought we were going to trade Antonio Brown for him.
That'd be fun. So the deal is nobody in their right mind is going to trade for Clowney because you can't sign him. You will pay him the franchise tag value and he can walk. Or you franchise him again, and he will make $37.8 million next year. Nobody can afford that. He's not getting traded. If
that doesn't seem like a Quinn move.
The team who acquires him is asinine. I mean, he's a fantastic player, but between all the injuries that he's had and the fact that he doesn't necessarily have a true position, he plays down. He'll play a 4. He'll play a 5. He'll play a 7. He'll play a wide 9. He'll play standing up.
Let me ask if.
He's really good though.
It's happened in other sports, but I haven't seen it happen in football. I don't even know if it's a possibility. If they were to trade him, could part of the trade conditions be that Houston has to pay half of his franchise salary this year?
It does not happen in the NFL.
Yep. Okay. The whole thing comes. Yep.
Whole thing comes. Oof, so that's not going to happen.
It'd be nice.
It's certainly not happening in Detroit. The only place I can see it happening is for Trent Williams in Washington. Washington, I don't know what the hell they're doing, to be honest with you, so I'll just let that go.
If I'm doing the CBA, that's something I'm looking for, actually, because he negotiated his very, very best deal, and now he's in a crappy situation, and it's not going to help his career. If he could get somebody to pay half the price that they're going right this year for him, I bet he could find someone to pick him up. And then the pain for both teams is less, and he gets a chance to move. It's probably better for all people involved.
That would be something that would be for the NFLPA to discuss. And once again, they will probably blow it off for the last possible penny that they can get in every upfront money, because that's what they always do.
Yep.
Because their leadership is crap. And they know it, but they still do it. Yeah. That's topic for another day. Back to the Texans again.
Other than that assassin, J.J. Watt.
Yes. So they have decent linebackers. Benardrick McKinney is a really good player, and I think Lions fans would love to have him in Detroit. He's not as fast as Jared Davis, but other than that, he's kind of a similar player, very downhill linebacker. Mm-hmm. that you don't want him in coverage. Same with Davis. He hits hard. He finishes tackles. He's a great pass rusher. Very good at chucking a tight end who's trying to get out into a route. He's a problem. He's a good player. And they got a guy, Zach Cunningham, who is a coverage linebacker. It's interesting. They sort of have the Tavai Davis combination working for them. Yeah.
Where'd Bob come from?
Big shock. Yeah. The biggest thing that I want to evaluate from this week is the Lions' defensive line against the Texans' offensive line. Because Houston's best offensive lineman is Nick Martin, their center. Mm-hmm. He sucks.
Yeah.
He would not play in Detroit. Not one of their 5 starting offensive linemen would be a starter in Detroit. Not one of them.
Mm.
Their starting left tackle right now is Matt Khalil. Remember him?
Yeah.
They talked him out of retirement to come back because they were so worried. They blew a first-round pick on Titus Howard. We watched him at the Senior Bowl. Big kid from Alabama State, very athletic.
Yeah.
He is so freaking green. And they've been working him in guard because they're afraid to leave him at tackle.
Right.
Their other draft pick, Max Sharping from Northern Illinois, they wanted him to be there. They wanted to have rookies as their bookend tackles. They're both playing.
You don't want to give enough real estate to play at tackle because the footwork and everything else. So just give them a tight little box to work in and do their job.
So now their starting tackles are Matt Khalil and Chantrell Henderson.
So you think Snacks is going to eat?
Oh, he'd better if he plays. But this is a game for guys like Kevin Strong, who's from the Greater Houston. He's like 2 hours out of town, but that's still Greater Houston.
Yeah. Family there.
Yeah, he will eat, and he, you know what? He's a fantastic story. And I got to plug my guy Eric Schlitt. Did an interview with him, an exclusive interview on Lions Wire, talking to Kevin Strong about what it's like for him to be found and how he's doing. He's got a father who has cancer, who went to Houston's practices and will be there all week. And it's a very emotional thing. He's a great player. He's impressed in camp. This was a guy who didn't do a lot at UTSA.
Right.
And he looks really good in Lions training camp. And he's got a shot to make this team. I'm very excited for him. It's a big week for him. It's a big week for Deshaun Hand. He doesn't have his arm brace on anymore. He will destroy whoever is their left guard. Remember, this is a team, Ode Abushi, who is not going to make this Lions team,
right,
was their second best their second best starting lineman when they made the playoffs.
They'll be looking to pick him up again.
They very well could be. And by the way, I'll admit I was wrong I picked on this very program. I said that Ode Abushi would be the starting left guard. That ain't going to happen. I was wrong. Sorry.
Oh, we got a Riz is wrong for later. But now,
there you go.
We have to call it a show. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. We're going to call it a week. Make sure to get involved. We need your involvement. Use the comments in the subreddit to give us feedback. DetroitLions.reddit.com. Also, don't forget about us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Get in there. In the Slack. As little as $1 donation a month will get you set up. Also on Facebook, Facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast, Facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast, and follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast. DET Lions Podcast, the very best place to see the Riz.
With no pants!
Straight, brother. Give us a call on Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast. It's all one word. Or you can call us on the Lions line at 929-33-LIONS, 929-335-4667. Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast so we can show up in your little MP3 player automagically. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems, baby, because we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection.